Welcome to Hook Connections. Today we have a great guest with us. We have Troy Hanna, who is the president of Address 2 and also the owner of T-Bone Disc Jockey. Welcome, Troy.
Hey, Barb. How are you today?
Good.
Awesome.
And it's always great to have our energetic guests. I mean, we have watched some of his DJ stuff happen this afternoon, and it's quite entertaining to watch everything he does. This show is brought to you by Barbara Hook of Hook Connect. I'm the host, and Gina Scott Hawkins with Star Media is the co-host, and we welcome you to the show. Troy, one big question. What led you to be a DJ, and what interested you, and what made you want to do this?
That's a great question. So the answer is I didn't want to work when I was in college. Long story short is that when I was in high school, I had a good teacher friend of mine who said, "Hey, you like music, you're outgoing. You want to be a DJ?" And I said, "Sure," which basically meant back in the 90s, carry around his gigantic speakers and sit around for hours and do nothing. Long story short is, though, I got trained by an awesome DJ, went to college, and basically looked at working in the lunchroom and decided, you know what, why don't I actually start a DJ company? And I DJ'd in college for a number of years, and that's how my business started.
And it's very successful now. I've been to chamber events where you were the DJ at Christmas party last year.
Absolutely.
Why do you love doing it? I mean, what is it about DJing that you like the most?
I think the biggest thing for me is it's a creative outlet. As you spoke earlier, I'm the president of a software company, and my 9-to-5 job is looking at a computer and helping small businesses. And so at the end of the day, I can close up shop and go party. Why not? And have a lot of fun while doing it.
And you always have fun.
Absolutely.
You're always joking with people and making fun of people, and that makes it even more fun. What is the worst experience that you ever remember as a DJ, and what is the best or the funnest experience that you ever remember as being a DJ?
Most fun.
More funner. It's interesting because I think I said best experience when you asked me for some questions, and now you said worst. Worst experience, and this actually goes a little bit into the idea of hiring a professional disc jockey for any of your events. Worst experience actually happened right here in Hamilton County. I was at a wedding and started noticing something in my speakers and started thinking around, and ends up right in the middle of the wedding, my speakers blew. And it was like, oh my gosh, my speakers are gone. What am I going to do? Well, when you hire a professional disc jockey, and I can go into more of who you should hire and that kind of fun stuff here in the next few minutes, but when you hire a professional disc jockey, guys like us actually have a backup plan. I don't know if it was my Cub Scout training or the fact that I, have been doing it for a number of years, but basically I had a smaller, not as high tech set of speakers in my car, but I was able to say, "Ladies and gentlemen, hold on for just a quick second. I have to make a few changes, and I'll be right back." It was maybe 3 minutes of dead air, something like that. Ran out to my car, grabbed my little smaller set of speakers, put those up. I was mortified. At the end of the night, I apologized profusely to the bride, and the bride was like, "What are you talking about? This was awesome." She said, "Technical things happen, but you had a plan, and you were able to go and get new speakers, and the party was great, and everybody was happy." So that was probably my worst. My best experience is I think every wedding is my best experience. Every experience is different. Every wedding is different. But if I had to say one, I'd have to say my own wedding first off. But if I had to say one, and I didn't DJ my own wedding, I just love doing it. It's fun, getting people on the dance floor, emceeing, that kind of fun stuff. Every wedding's a good wedding.
How about the wedding when the hula hoops were brought out? And she was just our guest a week or so ago. So.
Oh, absolutely. Lisa.
Yes.
It's so funny because the hula hoops, and there's some great pictures on my Facebook page. The hula hoops are one of those things where I won't lie, we borrow it from professionals, and I see other people do things, and that's another great segment there. But I pulled those out one day, and the pictures you get of brides and grooms, and I think there's a picture on my Facebook page of the bride's dad doing the hula hoop. It makes people laugh. It makes people post things to social media where you're in the background. It helps my business do better.
Absolutely.
Which is funny because I spend thousands of dollars a year on equipment, and I can get somebody like Barb who says, "Hey, Troy's awesome, and he has hula hoops." He didn't spend $15,000 last year on equipment alone. He brings $3 hula hoops, so it's just an interesting, fun concept.
And I'm real anxious because I'm on the planning committee for two. I'm not going to say what year, but on two big class reunions because I went to high school at two different places.
Was Jesus there?
No.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
Just checking.
Troy. And, one of the high schools said, well, let's just make it real soft music so we can talk. That's the older group of people. They age different on the west side than they do the south side.
Okay.
And then the south siders want it to be a big party,
Awesome.
So it's going to be fun for that. What should someone look for when they hire a professional DJ?
I would say somebody with a decent amount of experience is the best thing to see. I mean, look at their Facebook reviews, look at their online reviews, that kind of fun stuff, but also meet with them before you even hire them. Don't just hire a disc jockey, hey, I found this guy in the Yellow Pages. Even if you did go that direction, I highly encourage somebody to go out and say, hey, I found you in the Yellow Pages, but I'd really like to meet you in person first. The other key in hiring a disc jockey is, the big guys that are out there that do this, they're awesome, don't get me wrong, but make it a personal experience. Don't go with a company that has, thousands of disc jockeys across the United States where the day before your wedding you're going to find out that John Smith is actually your disc jockey. Know your DJ way ahead of time so that your crowd is taken care of, you're going to be taken care of, and you're not going to have to worry about things throughout the night.
Absolutely. So what are some of the price ranges, and how do you know if you have a good DJ or if it's somebody that might just be playing from their their cassette player and not a DVD or CD? What should a person look for? There's price ranges anywhere from $300 to thousands and thousands of dollars. So how should a person pick? You just went over to look at their social media and their reviews, but tell us a couple of things that are brought to mind that you should ask.
Things you should ask is definitely their experience level, if they bring backup DJs with them, and more importantly though is it what's your budget like, and how big of a party do you want it to be? Are definitely some things to look at as far as who you're going to bring in to disc jockey your event, whether it be a wedding, corporate event, anything like that, and make sure that they can handle those sort of situations.
Absolutely. Well, I want you to really quick give us your contact information for T-Bone Disc Jockey so anybody can get a hold of you that needs a DJ for a party.
Absolutely. You can find me on Facebook under T-Bone Disc Jockeys. You can also find me online, tbonediscjockey.com, and then I'm also on Wedding Wire for the brides and grooms that are out there. It's a great place to find me.
All right, and we'll be back for our next segment shortly. Thank you.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience. It's easy.
Welcome back to Hook Connections. We are here today with our guest, Troy Hanna. We talked about his company, T-Bone Disc Jockeys, but now we're going to talk about his day job, which is Address 2. Troy, tell us a little bit about what is a CRM?
Sure. Address 2 is the company I work for. We do CRM software. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. You have customers?
Of course.
You have customers?
Of course.
Awesome. So you have relationships with those customers. Address 2, the CRM platform that we use, is a customer relationship management system so that you don't let those small things like forgetting to call somebody back or knowing what the last thing you did with somebody was. That's what our software does. It's the next step above like an Outlook or a Excel sheet, paper, that kind of stuff. It's for you to manage your relationships with your clients and prospects a lot better.
Okay. So saying that, I mean, you have drastically different careers. What made you want to get into the CRM business?
If you had a half-hour show, that would be, or a 2-hour show, that would be great. But long story short is that I do kind of sort of have a type A personality, and I met the gentleman who founded Address 2, who's our current owner. His name is Nick Carter, not the Backstreet Boy, by the way. But I met this gentleman, and he told me, hey, I've heard you're a really good sales guy. You need a CRM. And I said, a what? And long story short is that we all have customers, and we know how to manage them. Address 2 takes that to the next step is what we do there. And I took a look at it, knew I needed it for my sales process in my previous career. And basically, I took it and ran with it. And 3 years later, Address 2 came knocking on my door and said, can you come work for us? And I said, absolutely. It's a product kind of like Facebook for those of you that are out there that, if you're in small business, it's a product that you have to have. Regardless if it's Address 2, if you're doing small business, you should definitely have a CRM. And we try to make ours as simple as possible for the small to medium-sized business owner.
Okay, so exactly what does a CRM do? Like, what are the functions that it can provide a business owner?
It's a great question. It depends on your needs, and that's the first thing when you're looking for a software like CRM that you need to analyze. Do I need it to be robust and have 10,000 different reports that I can run on my sales process, or do I need it simply to just manage my leads and tell me where people are, that I have relationships with?
Okay, so it will send me notifications with people that I need to follow up with, or people that I need to send quotes out to, and
absolutely
appointments that I have scheduled that I need to be at, and things like that. Or
absolutely, it's kind of like a giant yellow pages for your business is the easiest way to describe it, and just for yours. It does things like if you want to send out specialized newsletters to just a segmentation of your business. So if it's just for plumbers, or if it's just for small businesses versus large businesses, it helps you really segment down into who you work with and who your target market is.
Well, and a lot of times, Gina, we always try to remember something about the business owner, whether their kids went to IU, whether they whether they like to ski, and that's another thing that you can put all of that information in Address 2, that they have a pug, like you have a pug, and
so
I
do you.
have a pug, so, but those things are, it just makes you so, these people will remember that you know them really well when you got that to look at every time.
And it's kind of creepy too, by the way, and not in a bad way, but it's like, I'm a big supporter of the Humane Society of Indianapolis, and when like the mutt strut comes up, things like tagging people in your system, that things like for Barb, I tag as has a dog. I can go into my literally 47,000 contacts into my database and say I want to find everybody who has a note that says dog, and send them an email that says, hey, Address 2 is sponsoring the mutt strut or something like that. Would you join our team, or would you contribute to our cause? That kind of fun stuff.
So you're really targeting the people that want to receive that message and would be most receptive to listening to that and getting involved with whatever it is that you're sending out to them.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. That's a very, very cool tool. So what kind of businesses are a good fit for a CRM product?
Every business, first off. But a good fit for specifically our business are the medium to small size businesses. So anywhere from, the guy working from his garage up to, 50 to 100 employees are a good fit for our CRM.
Okay.
There's other CRMs on the marketplace that can fit specific industries, i.e. A plumbing CRM, because you're sending out service requests, that kind of fun stuff. But if it's a generalized business need, or if you're looking for a place to get started and need something pretty simple, that's what we've designed our software to be, is simple, so it's at least a place to get started and get your stuff in there. And then if you need a more specialized version or some tools, in some cases we can provide those tools. In other cases we may say, hey, you've got a great start here, but we want to maybe talk about moving you into a different sort of CRM system.
Okay, so you have different levels of packages for businesses, or how does that work?
Is this for you or for the TV?
Well, both, really.
we do. We have a tiered level, a basic starter package for somebody that just needs a centralized database to store information, all the way up to somebody who's tracking sales pipelines and marketing pipelines, and we even have some email features available. Think, we've all seen the Constant Contact or the MailChimp commercials. Think about that kind of stuff. But we put it all in one place for the small business owner versus having your CRM here, QuickBooks here, MailChimp and Constant Contact here. We try to centralize it into one location is what we do. And again, it's kind of 3, 4, 5 separate packages that we offer.
Does it seem a little more appealing, Gina?
Absolutely. It's like taking all of the things that I use and combining them all into one. It makes your life a lot more efficient. You don't have to keep track of all of those different passwords and
give me my business card.
Well, the last question that I have is, so for a customer that wants to look into setting up a CRM, what would be the process that they need to go through to do that?
Sure. The best thing is to try them out and find out what you need. Knowing that you need, a way to communicate not only with your salespeople, but also with your service guys that are out in the field. But then start looking around. But the best advice I can give you is ask other business owners. Maybe, other business owners that you network with, or just other business owners in general that may be in a similar or kind of similar field that you're in. Hey,
Sure.
how do you stay so organized? And most of them here in Central Indiana will say, we use Address 2.
Wow. Okay. So if people want to contact you about Address 2, what's the best way for them to do that?
Go straight to our website, address2.com, and that's TWO spelled out. We're all over social media, that kind of fun stuff. That's kind of the best way. And all I can tell you also is, as far as support from our system, I've got several support employees that are amazing and will take the time to explain things and really help you set up your system for you.
Very cool. Well, thank you for giving us that wonderful information. We want to take a second to thank our sponsors, Logan Street Signs and Banners, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street Signs and Banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Welcome back to Hook Connections. This is our last segment for the day. And again, we have Troy Hanna with T-Bone Disc Jockey and Address 2. And it just so happens that both companies are Hook Connect endorsed. So if you need to find out more about what an endorsement means, you can go to hookconnect.com. That's HOOKCONNECT.com. And Gina, can you give your website and contact information so people can get a hold of you?
Absolutely. You can reach me at 317-523-5029, or I'm online at star-media-group.com.
So, Troy, can you tell me, as a business owner and the president of another company for your day job, what do you feel? I mean, I'm sure both companies give back to the community, and what do you feel is the main support that T-Bone Disc Jockey does?
Sure. T-Bone Disc Jockeys, as long as I'm available, I love to give back as far as hosting some events, that kind of fun stuff. In the past, I've done things for some animal rescue groups on the west side of town, some cancer fundraisers, Humane Society of Indianapolis. Love giving back to anything animal related. As Barb said, we both love our animals. And I won't lie, I have two small kids at home that are in elementary schools, so it's awesome DJ in the elementary schools playing the Disney songs, if you will.
Yeah, how fun. And then how about Address 2? What are they involved in any supporting any nonprofits?
Sure. Well, we just recently wrapped up supporting the St. Jude's Walk here in Indianapolis. We were a ABC of Cancer sponsor for that event. We also, a recent addition, an unfortunate addition to our sponsorship is the wildfires that were out in Arizona, the Texas area. We actually helped sponsor and give back to them as far as providing some solutions for them to coordinate, volunteer efforts, cleanup efforts, that kind of fun stuff.
Well, that's very neat. Gina, do you have any other questions for him?
Yeah, a lot of my clients come to me because they need help with finding sponsors and preparing fundraisers and different things like that. So can you tell me how Address 2 might be able to help with some solutions regarding that?
As far as preparing things, it really just depends on their needs. What I would suggest is if it's just getting organized, using things like Eventbrite to sell their tickets, and using just email in general. But if it's an ongoing organization that maybe has 2, 3, 4 events throughout the year, that would be a great somebody to come to us and ask us for some help. Communicating and staying on top of their donors and maybe even just their fundraisers in general. We can help segment that out to figure out who their donors are, who their volunteers are, that kind of fun stuff. That's exactly what CRM can help with as well.
Awesome. That's a great feature. I'm sure I'll be sending many clients your way regarding.
And the funny thing is, I volunteered for the Super Bowl when it was here, and how they kept track of everyone, I have no idea. But
a very expensive CRM.
Yeah, it was just amazing that they were always right on top of everything, even with the scheduling and getting people what shift they're working and where they're working, and so a CRM program is very important. So
yeah.
And Troy, if you would, could you go back through and give all of your contact information for both companies, just so people will know how to get a hold of you?
Sure. So for Address 2, again, it's Address 2 spelled out, ADDRESSTWO.com. And you can reach me 317-594-9550 is that extension. And then for T-Bone Disc Jockeys, best way to get me is right on my Facebook page and or my website, which is tbonediscjockeys.com.
All right, Gina, do you have anything else for him?
I do. Before we started the show, you had mentioned an event that you have coming up. Can you tell us a couple places where people might be able to find you?
Oh, absolutely. An event I'm super excited about this year is the Hard Rock Cafe downtown Indianapolis is hosting an awesome New Year's Eve party. I believe the party begins at 10 o'clock that evening and goes until 2 o'clock in the morning. Tickets start for as low as about $50, kind of get you in the door, and some party favors and a champagne toast at midnight. And then I think the next level up from that for $50 is all for a ticket. It gets you in the door, champagne toast at midnight, and then also access to a wonderful buffet at the Hard Rock Cafe. And we'll be there from 10 o'clock until midnight playing some fun tunes and celebrating the new year for sure.
They should have paid you for that commercial that you just did for them for their
They should have. They should have.
Is there anything else you have coming up that you wanted to promote?
The only thing I could tell you is that I try to keep things definitely affordable as far as the DJ side goes. Like Barb had stated earlier, you can get a DJ for $300. You can get a DJ for several $1,000s. I try to keep it in the middle of the range there, and in doing that kind of thing with my experience and as well as my, I don't want to say perfect price point, but decent price point. If people are interested, book your DJs early. Don't make the DJ, photographer, the little ancillary stuff. Yes, you've got to book the church and the venue, but don't forget about the DJs, because I hate for somebody to not book early and call me up. I've had friends call me up and go, "Hey, I'm getting married in like 3 months. Are you available?" Book us early. That's what I can tell you.
Okay. So for people that might be wondering, what types of music, when you're DJing, what types of music do you typically play? Do you have a whole catalog of all different types of genres of music, or?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Great question for sure. When a client typically books us on our website, they actually get access to their client portal where they can peruse my entire music library, that kind of fun stuff.
Okay.
And I always tell clients, it can be overwhelming, especially if you're not a big music person. I tell people, give me 10 to 15 songs, other than the, first dance songs, that kind of fun stuff. But I tell them, give me 10 to 15 songs, and that'll tell me, oh, you know what? Barb likes country music, or Barb likes 70s rock music.
Old school hip hop.
Old school hip hop, Run DMC is what she likes. But it gives me a good idea of what that bride and groom will like. Typically, if it's music that you like, it's going to be music that 60% of your friends and family that come to the wedding or event like as well.
Sure. Okay. So, one more question that I was wondering: why did you name it T-Bone Disc Jockey?
That's a great question. Honestly, it's funny because I always wanted I won't lie, I wanted a nickname when I was a kid, and I never got one. And 16 years later with T-Bone Disc Jockeys, it still hasn't stuck. But the cool thing is that my son, who's an 8-year-old, who also loves music and is going to be a little DJ before I know it, it stuck with him. His friends call him T-Bone. I call him T-Bone instead of Trey, and that kind of fun stuff. And it works. So I'm keeping it and not going to lose it anytime soon.
How funny. Well, thank you again, Troy, for being on the show. If anyone needs to reach him, you can also come through hookconnect.com or call Gina call Gina or myself, and we will get that contact information to you. You don't want to miss next week. Next week, our guest is Greg Holton from Kendall Inventory Services, and it's all about having your home and business inventoried. And he's even going to go through some safety tips for outdoor and indoor holiday decorating. So because if your house catches fire and you don't remember, then you can't recover from your insurance company. So until next week, make sure you tune in at 3 o'clock. You can also hear us on TuneIn and HamiltonCountyTelevision.com and HamiltonCountyRadio.com. So we will see you next week.